when I pluck the string, it moves. We say it vibrates. And when I stop it vibrating, the sound stops. Every time you hear a sound, something is vibrating. Well, that's quite a noise you're making there.
Yeah.
Well, now, as one of Britain's top percussionists, you must be responsible for quite a lot of vibration.
Yes, that comes into it a lot, but you don't necessarily need a large instrument to make it vibrate. These small instruments also vibrate. These are the finger cymbals.
Well, now, I can't see them vibrating.
If you want to see them vibrating, have a look at this cymbal here.
Well, you can certainly see that vibrating. This is
Yeah.
called a sizzle cymbal, isn't
Sizzle
it?
cymbal because of its sound, and that is made by these little rivets that you have inside the cymbal, which vibrate when you hit the cymbal. But if you really want to see some vibrations, have a look at this.
Well, there's no question about that vibrating.
Right.
And that sound is a familiar one to me.
Well, it's something you very often hear on background music on TV or something like that, where something sinister is happening, you know? And here's something else that you may have heard before.
Oh, yes. Now, what's that called?
That's called a vibroslap. And what it is some little rivets inside this little box here, and when you hit the ball, the rivets jump up and down. They're rather similar to the ones on the cymbal, and make that sort of sound.
Ooh, that makes my teeth rattle.
Right, but this is a little bit more pleasing to the ear.
Yes, that's a much more pleasant sound.
That's better, isn't it?
Yeah.
You see, percussion needn't just be effects, but it can also be musical sounds as well. See, this is the vibraphone, which is made up of little chime bars, one after the other, going up in pitch all the way, and sounds something like this.
Well, I certainly recognize that tune.
Right.
Well, now, as well as having Tristan here in the studio with us, Science All Around camera team went down to a school in Codsall in Wolverhampton, and they gave us a great deal of help in making this program. Class 12 of Lane Green Primary School and their teacher, Mrs. Harris, did a lot of work finding out about sounds and making their own musical instruments. We'll be looking at what they did and listening to their orchestra later in the program. But first, let's see what they found out about vibration.
There's a clap inside the bells, and when the clapper hits the side of the bell, the bell vibrates and so causes a sound.
First of all, we had to put some sand on the chime bar. We got the chime bar stick and hit, and the chime bar vibrated and all the sand jumped off except for the parts where it was supported, because it wasn't vibrating.
Well, that's an interesting sound.
It's rather, isn't it? You see, you don't just have to hit instruments, you can also bow them.
So, you can strike instruments, you can bow them, or, as with my guitar, you can pluck them.
Right.
Well, that just leaves...
To make a sound, your lips must vibrate. And that makes the air in the pipe vibrate.
Can you explain what you're doing there?
Well, yes, this is a swanny whistle. And as I make the gap inside smaller, the sound goes higher. And as I make it larger, the sound goes lower.
So the smaller the gap, the higher the note, and the longer the gap, the lower the note.
Right, absolutely. Let's have a look at the marimba. Here again you find that the longer notes play the lower sounds, and the shorter notes play the higher sounds.
Now, are there any other instruments like this you could show me?
Yes, so the tubular bells, but I shall need your help with these.
Fine.
Same with the tubular bells, you have the longer tubes that give the lower notes, and you have the shorter tubes which give the higher notes. And of course the longest note
The longest tube of all gives the lowest note of all. Now, these are obviously sleigh bells, but what's special about them?
Well, first of all, they're tuned sleigh bells, and also they're unique because they're the only ones of their kind in this country.
Well, now, it doesn't seem to matter what shape the instrument is. What is important, though, is that the largest make the low notes, and the smallest make the high notes.
These are the timpani. The largest drum makes the lowest sound, and the smallest drum makes the highest sound. These are the Korean temple blocks. There again, the largest one makes the lowest sound, and the smallest one makes the highest sound.
And it's the same on my guitar. As I shorten the string, the sound gets higher. You put your finger between the frets here. These are the frets. And as you lengthen the note, lengthen the string, the note gets lower. The children also found out on their homemade instruments how changing the length changes the note. The instrument was made of a piece of wood, 2 nylon strings, and staples that acted like the frets on the guitar. Amanda and Trina called their instrument a zither thing.
When you blow into the bottle, the air inside, the air vibrates and makes a note. When you add water into the bottle, the length of air gets shorter, so when you blow, the note gets higher.
Now this must be a wind machine.
Absolutely right. And with this, the slower you turn the handle, the lower the sounds are. And the faster you turn it, the higher the sounds are.
I see.
Why don't you have a go on the thunder sheet?
Oh, I'd love to. Well, we're making a storm.
Right.
And that's exactly what the children did with their instruments, their poetry, and their pictures.
Tremendous storm came out of the heavens. I think it's the god of thunder. He roars all day until his wife comes in a dangerous temper. She treads on a tree branch. She cries and she strikes the tree down. Her pointed fingers reach down from the sky. She picks half the tree up in her hand. She picks it up and tears it apart and scatters the bits over the ground.
Now, one of the most important things about this guitar is the sound box, or resonator. Resonators are very important in musical instruments because they help the note to sound much louder. Even your classroom desk can act as a resonator.
Well, first I got a block of wood and I hammered in 5 nails. The little ones made the high sound and the big ones made the lowest sound. Because the desks are hollow and it made up a sound box for it, it was louder than when I put it on the phone. And the phone dampened the sound. We went down to the kitchen and we asked if there were any tins there. We put some polythene over the top and we stretched it over and we put rubber bands on to hold it. We made the beater from a paintbrush stick and a cork.
Now, what are these, Tristan?
These are the conga drums.
Now, these drums have a resonating box just like the ones that the children made.
That's right. Well, every drum needs some form of resonating box. Here's a head, which I've got here, which has no resonating box. If you'd like to hold that and pull it tight.
Pull it.
And I'll pull it as well.
Well, that's not much of a noise, is it?
Not much good at all. Let's go back to the timps. See, even a timp needs a resonating box underneath.
Just a moment. Now, you changed the note that time. How did you do that?
Well, when I push the pedal down,
Ah.
you're actually tightening the skin, which is bringing the note up in pitch.
I see.
Now, if you pull the pedal back up again, then loosen the head, then the pitch goes down. Now, this is a flexitone. And as you see, it's a piece of sprung steel with 2 little beaters either side, also on sprung steel. And as you tighten the metal, the note goes up. And as you loosen the metal, the note comes down.
Well, that's just like my guitar. As I tighten this string, the note goes up. And as I loosen the string, slacken off the tension, the note goes down. And that's what the children in school found out as well. Back on their zither thing, Trina and Amanda used a ruler to tighten and loosen their strings. Another instrument, designed by Heather and Eileen, we called an elastic pyramid.
Well, we made it out of a box and a slanted bridge with notches in for the elastics. And then we wrapped some elastic bands round and plucked them. We tightened them and loosened them. And then we pulled them side to side and made a scale. Yeah. Happy birthday.
I suppose the great thing about being a percussionist is the great variety of instruments you play and the number of sounds you can make.
Yes, absolutely. And a lot of them are quite simple instruments that you might find anywhere, such as a coil spring. Or maybe a klaxon horn. And a knife grinder effect. And even a washboard.
What a noise. Well, I suppose you could be described as a one-man orchestra.
I guess so, yeah.
Well, Tristan, thank you very much for coming along today.
Pleasure, thank you.
Well, there's a great deal of enjoyment to be had from making your own instruments and then from making music from them yourselves. There's a lot you can do to find out about sounds, to make your own instruments, and perhaps, like Class 12 of Lane Green Primary School, start your own orchestra.